We continue to focus our attention though on Kerala as rescue operations are still underway and lakhs of people are in shelters at this point needing rehabilitation. As the water has begun to recede in various parts of the state, the roads are now being opened and the rails have now resumed some services. Our colleagues are still on the ground. Right now with me, my colleague Shrija is in Ernakulam at this point. Shrija, I understand that you accompanied a rescue operation today. Could you tell us what you found?
Well, absolutely right. In fact, we were at a location called Paravur and we did go along with the NDRF team. And in fact, this was at the launch pad from at least about 6 kilometers we travelled. We waded through this particular water and then only then we reached several houses. We see at least 13 families were stranded in that very house is what we are looking at. And another important point to be noted over here, Faye, because it's been already 4 days, we see that it was the localites who were trying to reach out to them and also try and drop food packets, but it reached an extreme extent. We see that they had to be brought onto the safety zone because there was also a pregnant woman. Apart from that, we see that there were also old aged women as well because they had to be immediately rushed to a hospital. So this was the entire sequence of events. We reached the in fact these homes, we also took them on the boat and ensured that they reached the relief camp. But another unfortunate incident what we noticed was this very relief camp was completely inundated as well. And we did see the Air Force chopper trying to drop food packets to the people who were right inside that particular relief camp. So this is not just one particular relief camp that we are talking about, which has been waterlogged. There are several others, especially in Chenganur also, that we are looking at, which is completely waterlogged.
Shrija, I understand that you spent the night in the relief camp yourself because there were no hotels to stay in. Could you tell us what are people sleeping on? Do they have enough mats? Is there enough food there? What did people eat for breakfast in the relief camps?
Well, absolutely. As you rightly pointed out, yes, of course, we didn't ourselves get a space, especially in the hotels, because almost all the hotels are completely booked. We see it is the locals and the residents themselves, considering the fact that the houses, their own houses, are completely submerged. Apart from that, we did take shelter at one particular relief center, and we did see that there were not enough space. That is one important point to be noted. Apart from that, we did also see few people, in fact, sleeping on the floor. They clearly did not have blankets, and also more importantly, we saw that the food what was supplied, especially within the relief camp, was not sufficient. So this is the problem what we are looking at as far as the various relief camps are concerned. Not enough food. We see that they are running short of food as well. There are few people who haven't eaten at all for probably a day or two, and that is when probably later they get food, especially from, you know, like I pointed out, by Air Force chopper dropping the food packets to them.
Shrija, stay with us. I understand you have guests with us as well, but I just want to get an update from Pramod. Pramod is in Kochi at a collection point. Pramod, what is being collected at Kochi right now, and are you and is Kerala receiving enough material in aid?
Well, it seems like a be a confusion over here because this is PW guest house in this Kochi, and you could see there are a lot of water bottles that have been placed outside because that is the first essential item that will be loaded to any particular place. This collection point definitely has food, food and other supplies for now. You can see that like from here, NDRF camps are also attaining. Everybody in this area are attaining whatever that is required from here. If you have to go walk around, and you could see that there are actually packages that have been food and everything is also being packed. This is a 24/7 camp, and this is actually the lifeline, and the people here are doing a commendable job because everybody here are volunteers, not from the government aid but volunteers, and you could see the things have been first collected, then it's assorted, and as it is assorted, it is taken to every other location. In fact, the panchayat officers and others come over here, they can take whatever that is required. You have biscuits, you have everything from like whatever that is required in this place. In fact, if you could see on the right side, they have also assorted for the future reference. These are packs that have also been made in case any anybody wants to return back to their home, what they wish to do is that they have made these packs so that these packs will help them out if they go to the home. Basic requirements are placed in there. That way they are completely contained, and they are making sure that anybody who wants to return to their home, they will not have any kind of problem. I have to tell you that this is one of the major lifelines, and from here they are trying to send it to every other location. The problem is that there is no connectivity at various areas. So they have to, for now, early morning, how they start the sortie is that they start with providing foods, and if there is any kind of like a water, requirements like dress or everything, they are doing it. Choppers are doing a commendable job. In one area, we could see a minimum of 10 sorties being done, and that too through multiple helicopters, Indian Navy, Indian Army, and private helicopters also playing a bigger part. Everybody considers everyone else as a family, and they are like they are actually want to help them out. This way, everybody has come together, and this is one of the lifelines. I have to mention everything. I should say at least 90% of whatever is here is provided by the public. They are generous. They want to provide all these things to make sure that their fellow person does not starve and they survive.
Well, Pramod, there have been some rumors going around on WhatsApp that Kerala doesn't need money, it doesn't need food, it doesn't need any sort of donation. Is that true from your experience on the ground right now?
Certainly not. That is not at all true. They need a lot of requirements right now, because I have to tell you, the water, though the rains have stopped, the water is still up. In fact, places we have crossed, this is the 4th district for now in the past 2 days, and we have crossed through Chalakudi and Kodunganallur, which is underwater in the sense 15 feet of water. And right now only in Aluva and other places the waters have receded, but that is not like, when I say receded, it is up to the hip level. That is what they claim as receded, because earlier it was 6 feet. They need actually a lot of donations, money to the government, fine, but they need in the form of material, because most of these items, thankfully, people are donating, but they cannot keep on donating unless they receive it from various ends. This is what they require. It is absurd to say that Kerala does not need donations. Kerala needs donations. These people are in extreme need of all items, because we've gone to the relief fund, relief areas. In fact, one of them is UC College, and 20,000 people were there yesterday, and the condition was very bad. Still, they were trying to manage it, and right now, the products have started to go over there. The relief things are going over there. People go to their home, see what is there, what's the condition, and they come back to stay, because power supply is also not adequately provided in various areas. Kochi being a district, power supply is here. It's functioning normally, but in other areas, people have to stand in queue for fuel. So they are in need of basic amenities, and it will be completely absurd to say that they don't need anything, because for the next 3 to 4 more days, it will take for the water to recede, after which they have to go to home and they have to start again. Believe me, the home is completely filled with mud. All this mud carried by the river that has been sedimented in that. A minimum of half feet mud is there. They have to remove everything. They cannot go back to their life. Only after this, it will take a minimum of 2 months for them to once again start their life. They have lost everything, and it will take a minimum of 6 months to build their financial crisis once again.
Absolutely, Pramod. Thank you for that update. I'm going to. I want to go back to Shrija at this point. Shrija, you have with you the organizers and the founders of Anbodu Kochi, who are running that relief camp in Ernakulam right now. Ask them the same question, please, because there's a lot of confusion happening currently on Twitter that says Kerala does not need any sort of aid. Everything that you send will get wasted. It won't be used because people in Kerala are very well off and they don't need anybody's charity. Is that true, Shrija?
Well, Faye, I'm right now standing here at the Rajiv Gandhi Indoor Stadium, and we see this is one of the largest collection centers here, right here at Ernakulam. It is from this very location, we understand, it's dispatched and sent to at least the people who in fact send out requests. Now, that is what we have been told. So before that, if I could just come back to the people over here who are coordinating. In fact, actors are joining here. They are also in fact coming out in the open, trying to help and feed as much as people they can. So let me go across to actor Indrajit at this point in time. So we wanted a clarity on the fact there is an audio clipping which is doing the rounds, which says Kerala doesn't need help. We don't need money. Is that true?
It's not true. This is one of the biggest disasters Kerala has ever faced till now. We need help at this point of time, and this is a time when all of us have to stand together and help the state.
Right. So this is one of the largest collection centers, is what we understand. And can you give us a larger picture about how many people in the last 9 days have you all been able to feed or reach out?
See, with the info I have, I guess almost 7,25,000 people have been displaced all over Kerala. We have been catering to places. See, this rain started in Wayanad, and slowly it came down to Idukki, and then Cochin, it started get flooding. So basically all districts were flooded. Now we have been concentrating more on Ernakulam district, but we have already supplied, we have had so many supplies going out of this place to inside Kochi and outside as well.
Okay.
With the stats I have, we have already supplied 750 tons of material to camps and to affected areas inside Cochin district and outside as well.
Okay.
We have sent 250 trucks from here till today. And this is going to continue because this is just a starting phase where people need food and immediate materials. Rehabilitation is going to take a long time. So this is going to be a never-ending. I don't know when this is going to end, but Kerala is in need of help.
Well, that's exactly what you got from, in fact, Indrajit over here. Now, going back to Purnima now, can you give us a larger picture as far as, we understand more than 7 lakh people have been fed. Now, can you give us a sequence of events? From where does all these consignment come? So far, which are the states who have contributed?
You just saw a truck was loaded from Chennai, Tiruchirappalli actually. From Chennai, we are getting stuff from Hyderabad. Tomorrow we are getting a stuff from Bombay. Tuesday we are offloading something. It's been airdropped from Calcutta, I believe. So it's actually from all over.
So do you have enough food? That's the question.
Do we ever have enough food? And that too in a place where it's 7.5 lakh people have been, completely taken away. Their houses have been taken away. The food is something which the only thing we don't have. It's, I guess...
so that's the request.
Yeah, because see, food right now, Cochin is slowly shifting from that phase of being that initial phase to the rehabilitation phase.
Yes.
But then still there are places in Kerala that have not been touched, where people have not been able to go, where the army and navy has not been able to reach. People are still stranded in places like Chenganur and Tiruvalla, where I believe there is a lot of water and people just can't wait out of their houses. So I think we need more rescue and help workers from army and the navy to go to these places. And see, that's going to take more time. So Cochin is maybe getting better, but then there are still unexplored places in Kerala which are deeply affected.
That's right. Now coming to you, Parvati, you did of course post one particular video by saying that these are the materials that you required, essentials. But we did go to quite a lot of relief camps. So one of the major problems that we witnessed over in these relief camps is that they do not have space, first thing. Second thing is that they are running short of food. So how are you ensuring that everybody who really needs food across Kerala, do you ensure that reaches them?
See, the one logic that we are trying to apply here is that whichever area needs airdrops or places where we can only airdrop food, place where cooked food cannot reach or cannot sustain, we are going to airdrop food such as bread, rusks or biscuits, which can be really tightly wrapped and which won't perish immediately, can be easily consumed without the need for hot water or anything. You don't need electricity. But cooked food or rice items or pulses which are coming here, I have just personally been to 12 kitchens today, including restaurants which have opened up to like around 12,000 camps at this point, that they're reaching out personally and sending trucks and volunteers who are taking stuff either from here or several places where they can cook it and go to as interior as they can by road. Yes. And the rest of the things...
How was the connectivity when you're saying road, by road?
So by road, they couldn't really cover up the entire radius. So now what we are connecting by tomorrow onwards, what I have told my volunteers is that we need boats, and we have a few boats, but by the time it's about 6:30 we are losing light and the boats can't go in after 7, and these are stranded areas and we don't have sufficient boats, and we need more of that as well. So at this point, wherever we have road connectivity, we are hoping that people who can send us boats, rafts, whichever ways, people can actually go in by 6:30 and deliver dinner. Because right now I've just heard that there's a camp that has started in Chenganur. That's about 15,000 people who are coming in tonight. Right. And they've all stayed hungry for. So we need to cook food, and we have more and more catering spaces that are opening up. That said, we still need perishable, immediately ready to eat food.
It's not enough is what you're saying. Okay, well, that is what, in fact, clearly the people who have gathered over here trying to tell us that, yes, food is still not enough and they need still more food. Now, to give you more larger picture about the neighboring states, we understand that food hasn't reached from Karnataka.
Srisha, if you can hear me, would you please ask them again what they need right now in terms of material that we can send from other states? Has the list changed since yesterday? Is there anything specific that they need?
Well, if I could ask that question to Purnima, who's been coordinating this, can you just give us a picture about what are the materials that you all are lacking, which is still not enough?
Perishable food items, specifically sanitary napkins, the she kit, basically, all ladies stuff, diapers, undergarments, adult diapers, baby food, and I guess all over the needs are different, but also the immediate needs, which we all know, which is basic need for survival, is definitely food and water. So that is something which everyone needs, and it was quite heartbreaking when someone walks in and say, "Can I just have one bottle of water?" It's extremely heartbreaking to see that, and we witness that day in and day out. But when I see that, I also have to admit and tell you that we have been here for like 9 days. This is the 9th day. In grassroots level, there is so much of humanity, so many people working simultaneously, trying out their best. Like when she says that we don't have boats, there are divers and swimmers who have come from all states saying that we will do it. So it's like a collective effort without any hierarchy. People are just coming in, and like we all know, there's no cash involved. The whole thing, yes, whoever.
Is there any crisis at this situation right now? Are you facing any crisis situation?
As of now, we are in that magnitude where we want to overcome this. All right. So, and
yes, might I add, the biggest crisis we are facing is the uncertainty of rehabilitation and how much more of defense forces are going to come in, because we cannot keep doing this on a daily basis. We are losing volunteers. Tomorrow's a working day. We are not going to have enough manpower for us to sustain this. This is the load that's going to come right now, and we'll have to unload this tomorrow. And we have papers and papers pending for us to load the trucks. I mean, there is a bandwidth for every human, so we need way more, defense forces coming in. That's one. Rehabilitation, there's a few other things that we really need from other states and countries too, is water chlorine tablets and kits to be prepared when rehabilitation kicks off. We cannot wait till flood has gone down now and now we'll think of rehabilitation. I think
so that is what is more needed, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's really scary to think that.
Anything else, the materials that you're looking for?
No, we won't say more than anything. We need everything at this point. But this is also something to be kept in mind, because whoever is eating food, obviously we will need to use the bathroom, and the bathroom will have to be kept neat for people to not fall sick, and we are really scared of an epidemic breaking out. We cannot get this to a situation where an epidemic is breaking out, and then we'll have to deal with that as well.
And having uncertainty is the biggest question which everyone is facing in every walk of life. Like when they go back, how are they going to rehabilitate themselves? How are we going to plan with our waste management? We don't even have electronic waste management yet, and any kind of disease breakout, how are we going to cope up with that? And the support that we don't have as of now, whether we will overcome it. So it's like
So that is the uncertainty everyone has, is what you're saying. Well, that's exactly, you heard from them, Faye, where they're saying that these are some of the materials that they are looking forward to from different states. One being the sanitary napkins, just like how Purnima and Indrajit did mention, and the uncertainty of rehabilitation. So what we are looking right here at this, in fact, the collection center here is, there are at least 5,000 people, volunteers, who have gathered to join hands together to help and ensure that all the 7 lakh people that they are trying to reach the food to are fed well. But once again, what we are looking at here is they are running out of sanitary napkins. They're also running out of, especially, bread, jam. This is something what especially we see that Purnima, Indrajit, as well as, Parvati pointed out.
All right, Shrija there from Irnakulam, Pramod from Kochi bringing us live updates. For our viewers who are in Mumbai, there is a request for help as well from you. There is a team who are putting together, and we had them on the show yesterday, the World Malayali Association. They're putting together relief material that they're going to send by air to Kerala. They need space. They need a warehouse or storage space in which this material can be packed and organized, preferably next to the airport cargo complex in Sahar in Mumbai. 750 or 1,000 square feet with 24 hours access would be ideal. If you know of space and if you have space and you can lend your space for a couple of days, please get in touch with us. Our phone numbers are on your screen and we will put you in touch with the team that is doing this. We also understand that Jet Airways and Indigo have both agreed to carry material in their cargo holds to Kerala free of cost at this point, pro bono. So that's something we're grateful for as well. Also on our screen through the show, you will have a banner that will run. I will tell you the rumors that are currently circulating on WhatsApp and the facts when it comes to those rumors. There is a lot of stuff going around on WhatsApp, and I would beg you, like I do always, not to believe any of the things that you read on WhatsApp. But if you've read some of those things, hopefully these, this clarification will help you. Joining me in the studio at this point, CB Satyan, senior journalist, Nixon Joseph, president and COO of the SBI Foundation, Vipin Krishnan, general secretary of the Nurses Association at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Shaji Thomas is the president of the Shalimar Garden Malayali Association in Noida. And Dr. Ravi Malik is the CMD of Radix Hospital to give us the medical point of view. Also, Vinay Tiwari, our consulting editor with the Times Network. Vinay, first of all, the rumors that have been doing the rounds. And the problem with WhatsApp is that it's very difficult to counter what is going around, and it does have the capacity to derail the good work that is happening.
Yes, and I think the simplest advice we can give to all viewers is the last medium you should ever trust is WhatsApp. The best thing about social media now is that the government agencies have their original verified handles on it as well.
Yes.
So all the information, if you're actually so addicted to your cell phones that you read everything that comes on it, might as well go on Twitter and read the official handles of the government, because they are putting up information fairly regularly. If you have access to websites, then perhaps read the original source of and not second-hand and third-hand sources, because most of the stuff on WhatsApp, frankly, is incorrect.
And if you want to get in touch with us on Twitter, on our Twitter handle, and we'll clarify those things for you. In fact, some of the facts and rumors that are on the screen right now, there was one rumor saying that the Kerala Electricity Board has shut down operations. That is not true. That's not what happened. What has happened instead is that they have cut electricity to some places that are heavily flooded because they don't want risk of electrocution when there's that much water. There's another rumor that says the Murapara Dam has cracks in it. That is not true at all, and we've checked this on the ground. We have reporters on the ground. We've checked this with fact checkers as well. CB Satyan, the most dangerous WhatsApp forward is that one audio file that's doing the rounds, and I'm sure everybody's heard it, saying that Kerala doesn't need anything, and we've just proven on the ground that that is absolutely not true.
I don't understand, why some retard has come out with this kind of an audio file when Kerala is facing its biggest humanitarian crisis in the last century. Actually, this is quite unfair, this is quite unwanted, and I don't even understand what is the gain behind that by manipulating things in such a way and by spreading such rumors. Now Kerala needs its biggest help. It is looking for help, and we need everyone's help, because the entire infrastructure of the state is gone. The people are, more than 3.5 lakh people are in relief camps, and the entire road infrastructure is gone. Around 50,000 kilometer roads are devastated. Around 210 bridges are completely lost, and that is the kind of situation now Kerala right now is 100 years behind, and we need help. We need everyone's help to rebuild it to its lost glory. So don't believe in any kind of rumors. So we need help, we need food items, we need everything. So the government is continuously communicating with us that what exactly they need. Right now they send us a note saying that can we get torches, batteries and candlelights, because almost every camp is in dark. Because there is many areas there is no electricity. So what they are doing is that they are rightly communicating what exactly they want. And now they have sent us a list of all these drugs which they immediately need. Okay, and now they have sent us a request that can we provide undergarments for ladies as well as need
Children.
dress for kids.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so these are the things they are very clearly communicating what exactly they need. So when they are communicating what exactly they need, I don't think that there is an excess.
Yes, and absolutely what Vinay said, you only should be trusting the official channels of information at this point and nobody else, because this is a great time to make something go viral by putting out something viral. Vinay?
There is just one update on that, and I think since you mentioned that particular audio file that is going around, the update is, and I think people should hear this carefully, is one, they have identified that person and he's wearing an army uniform. He's a fake army uniform. The Indian Army has now clarified that there is no such man who is part of them. He's wearing a fake uniform, and I guess that's probably one reason why people may have actually thought this is genuine. And he's wearing a uniform of a Jawan. You obviously don't have Jawans talking in the army publicly in any case. So this guy has been identified, and the authorities as we speak are now trying to track this man down. Completely untrue.
One of our reporters has sent us information saying the government of Maharashtra will be sending 30 medical teams to Kerala tomorrow morning. Minister Girish Mahajan will visit Kerala with these teams personally to monitor the efforts. Dr. Ravi Malik is with us. He is the CMD of Radix Hospital. Dr. Malik, obviously this is the next wave. We will need doctors in Kerala. We'll need nurses in Kerala. We'll need medicines in Kerala. What are the risks right now after a flood of this, a crisis of this level? What are the risks that the people of Kerala are running at this point?
They are at a very big risk for the medical outbreaks. You know, what happens is whenever there is flood, there is stagnant water, and water is a very good medium for the spread of diseases, may it be some of the viral diseases, bacterial diseases, protozoal diseases. To name a few, any kind of diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid, cholera, for that matter hepatitis A and D, for that matter worm infestation, amoebiasis, giardiasis, all these infections, they can go through water. Second important risk is that whenever there is a stagnant water, there is always a risk for the percolation of the mosquitoes. So all the mosquito-borne diseases, may it be dengue fever or malaria, these all infections will also crop up slowly and slowly. Besides that, lot of other problems, maybe conjunctivitis for that matter skin infections, skin allergies, for that matter ENT infections, and moreover whenever there is stagnant water or the water is flowing, lot of injuries can also occur because of the slip or maybe injury from a sharp object which is there, which is hiding in the water. So all these things can occur. Now the basic problem is that all these infections, they have some incubation period, so they are likely to crop up after 14 days of the stagnation of water. So this situation should be immediately controlled, and people should be well educated for maintaining the proper hygienic measures. They should never eat anything which is soaked in the flood water. They should never let the water get stagnant in their houses, so they should clean it up. And whenever there is a case of diarrhea, they should immediately report to the authorities so that there should not be any outbreak. So not only they will need lot of the help of the medical facilities like doctors, nurses and paramedical staff, but also a lot of medicines, injections, maybe vaccines also, because vaccines can also prevent lot of diseases. So whenever there is a flood situation, initially nothing happens for about a week, 10 days or 15 days, but thereafter a lot of epidemics can come up. So it is very important for us to be on the guards, and epidemics can come up, epidemics of any variety. For that matter, typhoid epidemic can occur, cholera epidemic can occur, so we should be very, very careful.
Dr. Malik, other than obviously mosquito repellent, which we should be sending to Kerala in large quantities, is there anything else medically you would advise people who are working on rescue or relief material in the rest of the country? What should we be sending medically in terms of medicines to Kerala?
We should send them the medicines which are used for waterborne infections, say for typhoid, say for cholera, say for diarrhea, say for dysentery. They should send ORS packets, or they should send the injections which are required for waterborne infections. So there are only particular kind of infections. For conjunctivitis, they should send the eye drops, for that matter ear drops, because there are only particular kind of illnesses which are likely to occur in the flood-borne areas. So they should send the medicines which are useful for the waterborne illnesses. and moreover, then obviously financial help should also be been given. And moreover, with the programs like you are conducting this program, we should give the health education also to them. Because what kind of infections can come in future, what kind of precautions they should take, they should wear full sleeves for the clothing so that the mosquitoes are not able to bite them, mosquito repellents can be used, stagnant, they should try to clean their houses also, and mainly hand hygiene should be properly maintained. All these precautions needs to be taken. So it is a multi-pronged approach. On one side, we have to give them the preventive health education so that the people are empowered to take care of their health. On the other side, we should give the tertiary care by providing them with the medical facilities and with the medicines.
All right. We also have Nixon Joseph, President and COO of the SBI Foundation. SBI has also gotten into, yesterday announced that it will send money for relief operation. And Nixon, I understand also that you are personally involved in relief operations as well. In terms of what's happening across the country, the kind of help that's going in, obviously, it's not just about feeding people right now. It will be about helping them get back on their feet.
Yes, as we all know, Kerala is facing a very big crisis, and then support is coming from all parts of India and even from the world. As you rightly told, this rehabilitation measure is now the most important thing, because though people are like daily items, daily food items or things are being taken care of, the fact which is worrying most of the people is what will happen when they go back, what is awaiting them, this uncertainty. This is related to livelihood, and this has to come by way of a concerted effort from the government of Kerala and all the financial institutions, all the NGOs, civil organizations, everyone have to come together and have a strategic plan for this. I am really inspired by the support which is coming from all the people from outside Kerala for the people suffering there. Even today I got a video from Garo Hills, Meghalaya, where they are collecting funds for bringing support to the people of Kerala. So now when our focus is on, immediate thing is on how to bring these people back to their homes. Maybe the longer, in the short term, we will also have to focus on how livelihood can be made available to them.
Right, Nixon also...
And from SBI side, as you told, SBI had yesterday, yes.
Yes, go ahead. What has SBI done? And if there are people watching right now who want to help, what can they do?
Yes. Okay, SBI has already committed 2 crores to the Chief Minister's Disaster Relief Fund. And all the employees are also donating 1 day's salary for helping the Keralites. And also, it is whatever voluntary contributions employees are making, SBI has decided to match that much amount and give it to the SCM's relief fund. Apart from that, our officers, staff, all of them are involved in some voluntary activities so that people can be brought back to normalcy or at least mitigate their sufferings. And all over India, our colleagues are taken it personally, and they are trying to do their best to see that sufferings of those affected are mitigated.
All right, Nixon Joseph, the President and COO of the SBI Foundation. I'll come back to you, but as we know, Chenganur was one of the worst affected places in Kerala. While the Indian Air Force has been dropping relief material, locals are still in bad shape. Our reporter Shilpa Nair sent us this detailed report from Chenganur today.
Chenganur, which is one of the worst hit areas in Kerala, and in fact these are some of the locals here who've just gotten relief materials from the nearby relief camps, and I'm going to talk to them and see as to what exactly are the problems that they're facing, because they've been stranded here for the past many days. And in fact I'm just going to talk to them and see what they have to say about this situation. Cheta etra divasayittu ningal ivide nikkuva endokke prashangal undavu?
4 ദിവസമായിട്ട് 4 ദിവസമായിട്ട് അവിടെ ഈ അരി മാത്രമേ കിട്ടുന്നുള്ളൂ. പക്ഷേ കറി വെക്കാനുള്ള സാധനങ്ങളോ അങ്ങനെയൊന്നും കിട്ടുന്നില്ല. പിന്നെ ഇന്നലെ ഈ ഹെലികോപ്റ്റർ വന്ന് ബിസ്ക്കറ്റ് പിള്ളേർക്കെല്ലാം ബിസ്ക്കറ്റ്, രാവിലെ ഭക്ഷണമില്ല, ഉച്ചയ്ക്കും വൈകിട്ടും കഞ്ഞി, അത് മാത്രം, കറികളൊന്നുമില്ല. പിന്നെ ഹെലികോപ്റ്ററെ കൊണ്ടുവന്നു ഈ വെള്ളം, ബിസ്ക്കറ്റ്, ഇതിനുള്ള സാധനങ്ങളുണ്ട്. ഇവരൊരു 10-40 അടി ഉയരത്തിന് ബിൽഡിങ്ങിൻ്റെ മണ്ടയ്ക്കോട്ട് ഇടുക. അത് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നില്ല, എല്ലാം ചെതറി അങ്ങ് പോവാം. പിന്നെ ഇന്നലെ ഹെലികോപ്റ്റർ വന്നപ്പോൾ ഒരു 7 പിള്ളേരെ തലയിൽ ഓട് വീണു. സ്കൂളും കോളേജ് അടുത്തത്. ഈ ഓട് മാറി നിന്ന് പിള്ളേർ പറന്ന് വന്ന് വീണിട്ട് ഒരാടെ തല 7 കുത്തിക്കെട്ട്, 6, 3 അങ്ങനെ 7 പിള്ളേർ എല്ലാവരും കുത്തിക്കെട്ട്. അവിടെ തിരുവല്ല ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ കൊണ്ടുവന്നപ്പോൾ അവിടുന്ന് ഫസ്റ്റ് എയ്ഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് സ്റ്റിച്ചിട്ട് അവിടെ സ്ഥലമില്ലെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് ക്യാമ്പിലോട്ട് അയച്ചു. ഇന്ന് രാത്രിയില്ല കൊണ്ടുവന്ന്. ഇപ്പോൾ രാവിലെ പിള്ളേർക്ക് തലവേദനയായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ആശുപത്രി കൊണ്ടുപോകാനോ, അതിലൊരു കൊച്ചുകുട്ടിക്ക് തലമുറിവില്ല, ഓട് വീണു. പക്ഷെ അവർ ഛർദിലുണ്ടാവണം തിരിച്ചു കൊണ്ടുപോകണത്. രാവിലെ ഛർദിച്ചു. പക്ഷെ ആ കൊച്ചിനെ ഇപ്പോൾ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ കൊണ്ടുപോയി പിണ്ടി കൊണ്ട് ചെങ്ങാടം ഉണ്ടാക്കി അതിൽ തള്ളിക്കൊണ്ട തിരുവല്ല വരെ പോയിരിക്കുന്നത്.
So he is basically saying that they've been getting rice and yes, the Indian Air Force has been airdropping food materials, but once it lands it's totally getting crushed, especially items like biscuits. So there is no use when such items are dropped because it completely gets crushed and it's not consumable. And in fact he's also saying that when the helicopter was hovering around the Chenganur area, the roof of a particular school, a relief camp, fell down and it injured around 10 children, and they are also finding it difficult to take these children to the nearby hospital for the first aid, is what he is saying. ചേട്ടാ, നിങ്ങൾ ഇവിടുന്ന് ഒഴിഞ്ഞു പോകാൻ തയ്യാറാണോ? കാരണം പല റെസ്ക്യൂ ടീംസും പറയുന്നത് ഇവിടെ ലോക്കൽസ്ക്ക് വീട്ടിൽ ഇവിടെ തന്നെ നിന്നാൽ മതി, പുറത്തേക്ക് പോകണ്ട, ഭക്ഷണവും ആവശ്യ സാധനങ്ങളും അയച്ചു തന്നാൽ മതി എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിലാണ് കുറേ പേര് പറയുന്നത്.
പക്ഷേ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യം അയച്ചു തന്നാൽ മതി ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് എത്തുന്നില്ല. ആ പകുതിയുടെ സാധനം മാറിപ്പോവുകയാണ്. ഞങ്ങളുടെ ക്യാമ്പിൽ ഒരുപാട് കുട്ടികളും ആൾക്കാരും ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. 10,000-2,000 പേര് അടുത്തുണ്ട്. ആ ആൾക്കാർക്കൊക്കെ ശരിക്കുമുള്ള ഭക്ഷണവും എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. ഒരു മെഡിസിൻ്റെ ഒരു പാരസെറ്റമോൾ പോലും പനിയുള്ളവർക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നില്ല. ഭയങ്കര ദുരിതത്തിലാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ. ഇനിയും ഡാം തുറന്ന് വിട്ടു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഞങ്ങളുടെ അവസ്ഥ വലിയ ദയനീയമായിരിക്കും. അതിന് ഇന്നലെ കുട്ടികളെ കൊണ്ടുപോയത് തന്നെ പിണ്ടിച്ചങ്ങാടത്ത് രാത്രിക്ക് അവർ റിട്ടേൺ ഇവിടെ വന്ന്.
So he is saying that they had to make a makeshift boat to take these children who were injured to the nearby hospital, and they are saying that even though they are ready to stay here, all they want is enough relief material, but that of course unfortunately they are not getting, even though the Indian Air Force is trying their best.
In fact, among all of this bad news, there have been some stories that are truly heartwarming. Amidst all of the chaos, the Indian armed forces are showcasing extreme grit and determination. Here are 2 instances where our forces have rescued young children in distress. In the first case, a baby was airlifted into a helicopter and reunited with his mother. The rescue was conducted at Alabura late on Saturday afternoon. And you can see once the baby was brought into that helicopter very carefully by that commando, he unstrapped the baby and handed it over to a very relieved and happy mother. That is a visual that will make us all feel very warm. Say in the second case, the Indian Coast Guard rescued a 10-day-old baby from a house in flood-hit Kadungalur, and that's the visual you can see on the right side of your screen. That's the Coast Guard climbing out of the home, perhaps on the first floor with a tiny baby, just 10 days old. And Vinay, and this is something we must appreciate. The winching that's happening right now, where the helicopters are picking people up from their homes, it's not, I mean, this is not a Bruce Willis film. This is very, very tricky work for both the commando who's on the winch and the pilot.
Yes, and this is Mission Impossible in real life, pretty much. And I don't think...
although that's a Tom Hanks film.
I don't think people quite understand how difficult it is.
Explain to us why it's difficult.
Well, number one, to winch, the chopper has to be held at a steady level. Holding a chopper steady has lots of other extraneous factors that are involved. One is the wind condition, 2, the weather, the cloud, the pressure that exists at that particular point in wherever the winching is happening, and then the duration of the winching is extremely critical. This requires very experienced and very, very seasoned pilots to actually hold the chopper steady. When you are actually winching up a child, the problem becomes even tougher, because the children tend to panic. They try and struggle it's a very unusual experience for them. They don't even have that ability to be explained something very often.
And Kerala's topography, incidentally, has a lot of very, very tall coconut trees.
Exactly.
Now, normally other trees don't go as high as coconut trees, and that comes in the way of how high the helicopter can actually go.
So the trees, plus of course there are some places where there are power lines as well which exist, so it's tough to winch the rope down. All of these aspects combined put together makes the job of winching an extremely skillful
and I'm going to come back to this because this is really interesting. But right now we have Mr. Thomas Isaac, Finance Minister of Kerala, on the phone line with us. Mr. Isaac, thank you so much for giving us time in what I understand is a very busy time for the entire government. I want to understand a few things from you. You yourself were stranded at one point this afternoon where we were not able to reach you. What part of Kerala are you in right now, and what is the situation on the ground?
Oh, it's to me?
Yes, Mr. Isaac, please go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I am in Alleppey. Now, this part of Kerala, a huge one whole taluk is below the sea level. And therefore, every year there are floods here. People are used to floods. It's something like winter snow having a flood. Therefore, they didn't take it very seriously initially. So one of the usual floods. But very, very soon they realized the gravity of the situation, water level was rising too fast. There was initially some panic that came. But, for example, these 13 panchayats that constitutes the Kutanad, we have evacuated nearly 200,000 persons in a matter of 4 days, of which 1,15,000 are in camps, if not more. Others are living in their friends, relatives, and so on. And now all that is left is some individuals, I think something like 5,000 or more, little more, who refuse to come. They have their traditional way of living in the water. They tie a long plank between two windows and just cuddle up till the water goes down. So they say that it's much better. They will continue this. We are trying to persuade them to come out. So now the rescue operations for such Kutanad has stopped. And now tomorrow we are going to have a go at the animals and poultry, giving the feed and moving them to higher ground and so on.
Okay. Mr. Isaac, are there any parts of Kerala which rescue operations still have not been able to reach, where people are still trapped, perhaps without food and water as well?
No. See, what had happened was in Chenganur, and usually the floods are not that severe. And now this is an area with a large migrant population, and they have relatively better houses and so on. So many of them thought going up the first floor and living there, they will be taken care of. Therefore, they just refused to come. Only poor people shifted out of it. But the furious flood was such, the entire road connectivity has gone. Not with that, overnight, the ground floor was devoured by the filled with water. Therefore, they cannot come out. Then people went to get panicky, and a little bit of real panic set in. But now, what has happened is something very, very interesting. The fisher folks, they're seasoned veterans in water. About 600 boats came from the seashore, transported through big lorries to these river basins. And initially, they found it difficult to go to the currents and so on. But they have reached every nook and corner. And they have taken the boats, particularly the country boats, not the fishing big boats. Country boats have outdoor engines. Therefore, engine can be removed and boat transported, then put in. So it's an improvised motorized boat. And they have been effectively utilizing it in this Kutanad region I am speaking of.
Yes.
The last 3 days, they have taken something like 15,000 sorties. and they have been successful with a large number of people. Therefore, I don't think.
Yes,
there
so
are
we
areas
actually have those visuals on our screen of the country fishing boats that have been moved from the seashore into the hilly areas where they are actually being used to rescue people. Now, these fisher folk have never actually gone so far away from the sea with their boats inland, but that is where they have gone at this point. Mr. Isaac, my question to you right now is the government of Kerala sufficiently funded for this entire operation? There was a suggestion by the Chief Minister that he had asked for 2,000 crore rupees but received 500 crore rupees from the central government. Do you have enough funds? Do you need people to donate more funds? What is the scene? What is the situation of the funding of the relief work?
No, let me tell you, we don't have sufficient funds. This, unfortunately, our expectation on GST has not proved to a mirage. Everybody thought Kerala is going to benefit a hell of a lot. But it's just not. Therefore, we have a big revenue deficit. So we are finding it difficult because, for example, let me put it this way. 1 lakh houses have been washed away or broken down. Now, Kerala, our housing program is 4 lakh per house. Just look at the cost of rebuilding these houses would entail, or cleaning up the place. The roads, what has happened is that Furious just washed away all the roads. And therefore, road itself will come to restoration, something like 10,000 crores of rupees. That is our estimate. So it's a huge expenditure. And, but we don't want to hold back. If central government doesn't come forward, our plan is going to suffer. Kerala, incidentally, is one state in India where we are not given up planning. And therefore, it is going to cut into the plan process. There are two sets of issues. But how to finance the immediate rehabilitation, which cost would be something of the order of 3,000, 4,000 crores, of which 500 crores is too little. I hope the center would be much more generous. Then there is the question of the reconstruction, reconstructing the roads, the electricity connectivity, having, for example, Kutanad, how to prevent a second flood occurrence like this, eco-restoration programs, something which budget would come to anything between 15,000 to 230,000 crores. But we can't expect that kind of money from somewhere. So at least something like a 10,000 crore project of eco-restoration and reconstruction, which we have, of course, central schemes and also multilateral aid.
Yes, Mr. Thomas, just to get to the specifics, you said rescue and relief right now would cost at least 3,000 or 4,000 crore rupees, after which you're expecting a cost of rebuilding the state to run into 30,000 crore rupees. What is your shortfall if you consider what is in the Chief Minister's relief fund and the available and the funds available to the state right now, plus the 500 crore rupees that the centre has currently released? What is the shortfall that Kerala is facing?
Okay, we get the annual 200 crores rupees from the National Disaster Relief Fund, Finance Commission Award. Now, Centre has given 500. That means we have 700 crores. Now, as of now, the response to Chief Minister's appeal has been overwhelming. We feel very humble. In fact, slightly nervous for the kind of expectations the people, the world, and the country have on Kerala.
What is the collection so far?
So far, I tried to ascertain today, it is at 260, nearing that. It means about 100 crores from the employees.
Okay.
Then the various state governments and individuals, money has been coming in. I think it may go up to something like 400, 500 crores, as it is the kind of money that comes in is an indication. So 500 1,000, 1,200, you will be facing a deficit of 1,500 minimum.
Yes.
That's the scale. Immediate relief.
Immediate relief of 1,500 crore rupees, although you feel you might need twice as much.
So that is the kind of situation.
Oh, is
now,
there...
regarding,
yes, is there an... Yes, go ahead, please. I apologize.
Regarding the longer-term reconstruction, I hope the World Bank, they would be willing to come forward with some... We are negotiating. Started the discussion. Not only discussions here, we are also started thinking about the reconstruction package, how we should go ahead. For example, Kutanad area speaking about. We mismanaged a big MS Swaminathan award for eco-restoration of Kutanad.
Yes. So Mr. Isaac, just to be specific right now, has the state government considered a compensation for people who've lost their lives or lost their breadwinners or lost their homes? Is there any work that has been done on that so far?
Yes. See, we have already announced 4 lakh for all houses that have been destroyed, and partially destroyed houses appropriate, proportionate compensation. And deaths have been now more than 300 since this monsoon season started. So we have been, our compensation for death and natural calamity, etc., is more than double of that is offered by national norm.
Which is?
Say, almost the bananas, for example, get some 20 or 30 rupees. We pay 100 rupees. The paddy compensation is more than double.
Okay.
So also, I think whatever central we get for, well, say, now the 500 crores that we are getting from center, they are allocated for the deaths also. But we'll have to compensate more than double. For example,
right, and Mr. Isaac, is there an estimate right now on the crop loss in Kerala? Given that all districts were on high alert at one point, what is the estimate of crop loss so far?
Now I have the estimate for 11th, and which it has been put at nearly 1,000 crores. It will be much higher because there's nothing of paddy remaining.
And the land area of loss that you're expecting on agriculture, or the percentage of loss that you're expecting in agriculture?
It will be very severe blow. For example, the entire cash crops, rubber tapping has totally ceased. When you have such rains and then hill slides, so who's going to work anywhere? So the plantation sector has been very, very badly hit. And this prolonged and paddy has been washed out. But only, I don't know what, saving grace is that suppose it had been drought, the impact would have been much more severe. We can some consolation that suppose there is a very severe drought, in the its effect will go there for 2-3 years. But flood, I hope, we'll be able to recover faster.
Okay, so you're saying agriculture recovers from a flood a lot faster than it would take to recover from drought. Also, damage to businesses, damage to the state government in terms of your own godowns, your own storage of food or food grains. Given the fact that this was also a harvest season, Onam would be next weekend. What sort of assessment on damage do you have so far from the state government's storage of food?
Well, first, the biggest damage has been, casualty has been the tourism. Now, there's the fastest growing industry in Kerala. And what has happened is Nipah was suddenly created a scare. So it was very successfully contained and eliminated. But nevertheless, it had a very adverse impact. And then our monsoon season was starting, the boat races and so on. We are going to have a boat league for the first time in Kerala. But Champions Boat League had to be postponed. And tourism season, tourists have really suffered. and houseboats and so on. And that's the industry and traditional industry, everything. In fact, construction has stopped. So what is a big dip in the income of the people? I mean, life has become much more tough. Now that is and the food. Well, food is only because of dislocation of transport.
Okay.
Otherwise, it won't be a problem because India is one food market now. So if there is shortage here, we can always bring in food. But what has happened is the localized scarcity has come because the transportation has been totally disrupted. And that will be easily recovered.
Mr. Thomas, are you looking for further assistance from the centre other than the 500 crore rupees that has been received for your long-term plan of rebuilding and reconstruction of the state?
Yes, we are still hoping the centre would pitch in a little more support for us. We had asked for 2,000 crores. But it's never you get whatever you ask.
Has the state of Kerala put in a request for the 2,000 crores to the centre?
Yes. Yes. Initially, we put 1,220. Then, as the losses mounted, we've said ask for an immediate support of much higher amount. And then I think the centre and state would have to sit down together and have a long-term package, particularly for Kutnad and the flood-affected areas, and also for Western Ghats. Of course, it is going to be complicated. It cannot be done in a day.
Yes.
But I tell you, there have been so many studies, I don't think there will be need to create new data and so on.
Yes.
But certain important policy decisions will be made.
Mr. Isaac, a quick question here also. Do you need for people across the country to continue to donate to the Chief Minister's Rescue and Relief Fund?
Yes, yes. As I told you, just today, Maharashtra Finance Minister called me. He told 20 crores rupees from Maharashtra and asked me what other support we require. And now with nearly 1 million persons living in camps, I told them, well, Sharapur and so on, therefore, bed sheets and berries would be most appropriate. Not food as such, this kind of specialized support. We don't have a textile industry of our own. Procuring it from purchasing it through government machinery is going to be time consuming. The camps are going on. The simplest way would be to airlift it from a textile center.
Textiles for bed sheets. Mr. Isaac, is there a risk of the receding monsoon which arrives in Kerala around September and October? Is that something you're concerned about? Coming in the way of rehabilitation or coming in the way of reconstruction?
Now, what is going to happen is the northeast monsoon is going to come in. And northeast monsoon affects the southern part of Kerala more. But one can't say anything about this. Even this is a quirk. About 15, 20 years back, we used to have this kind of severe monsoon occasionally created by this low pressure in the Bay of Bengal. But for the last 15 years, I hear there was no such relationship. Suddenly, this pattern has emerged. Monsoon instead of means going to the north along the coast, taking a easterly course across the continent, being stopped by the Western Ghats, creating havoc in Kerala. Well, I don't know what's happening.
Mr. Isaac, given the fact that you're expecting damage and loss to tourism, construction, agriculture and other businesses, what sort of revenue loss to Kerala have you estimated for this year?
Well, for example, my budget is going to be another big hole because Onam is the season. I was hoping this Onam season is going to get us over the compensation limit and help us to be on our own. But Onam sales festivities, everything is a washout. So it is going to affect the government revenues also, not only increase in expenditure, revenues are also going to shrink.
There is also now talk about the fact that this entire catastrophe was man-made because of construction, because of deforestation and quarrying in the state of Kerala. What is your response to that, Mr. Isaac?
That will be too simplistic statement. See, the greatest, say, a similar flood in the history of Kerala, living history of Kerala, memory is 1924. Just even catastrophic time now. This so-called development had not taken place at that time. Kerala was in its pristine glory. And why did it happen then? So that is a very simplistic notion.
All right.
But at the same time, I do fully agree with you that there are very serious environmental concerns with Kerala's development process. And the kind of flash floods that we have seen shows the carrying capacity of water, the river basins of Kerala has dramatically shrunk. That, despite all these dams which never existed in 1924, today we have having this flash flood. That means something very serious has happened in our river basin.
There's also the environmental reports that the government of Kerala has ignored over the last several years. Could it be that ignoring those environment reports and not taking steps when necessary has led to this problem now?
Well, it's a debatable point again. But my sympathies are always with the environmental concerns. But government of Kerala has been taking into explicitly the environmental concerns, trying to build it into the development process. But there are also equally other issues like severe population pressure on land and reclamation of wasteland and forest land and so on, which has been going on not just now, for the last 2.5 century. It's a very complex process. But I think and I hope that present crisis would prompt us to take more seriously the environmental issues.
Right. Of course, as the water recedes, Mr. Isaac, there will also be a need to examine what caused this problem. And if there was something that should have been done in the years, that have just gone by, that could have avoided this entire disaster. But in the meantime, Mr. Thomas Isaac, our prayers are with the people of Kerala, and people across the country are currently working very hard to make sure that as much relief material can reach Kerala as quickly as possible. Thomas Isaac, Finance Minister of Kerala, joining us on the phone line. I thank you for your time. We're going to take a quick break here on Mirror Now, but we'll come back to focus on information that's coming in from Kerala right now and what you can do to help. On the other side, don't go anywhere.